Good morning, Instagram. Okay, we're live now. Good morning, everybody. This is Billy Parrott, Billy of B-Town, Meridian Real Estate, coming to you live from my new office space once again. This is the second coffee chat I've done in here now. So,
Sweet.
and I keep adding little things. So we'll see how it goes today. We need to turn this so we can see you more. There we go. Okay. Well, I'm with my special guest, Riley Wolery.
Yep.
Wolery.
Like Chuck.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it like Chuck Woolery? And he is a local artist here in Billings, and I still feel like you're not in this shot enough. Hold on, I'll turn this. There we go. Okay, see, we're just playing around, we're making it work. Yeah, so you've got an upcoming show. You did one last year,
Yep.
and some years prior. I attended that one. Do you want to kind of talk to us a little bit about what's to come?
So this next year, this will be year 5 for me doing these shows. Last year, as those that attended saw, I was at the Northern Hotel in downtown Billings. I'm doing 2 shows this year. The first show is actually going to kick off in Bozeman, and then the next one is going to kick off still in Billings,
Okay.
normal. So.
And when is that again?
So the shows are going to be set April 26th. That's a Saturday in Bozeman, and then the next weekend, May 3rd, will be at the Northern.
Oh, okay. So. Awesome. So you're in preparation right now, just trying to get it together.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit the process. Like, what does that look like to put together this event? Because last year, the one that I went, well, was it this year? Was it technically in 2024? When was it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
The days are flying. I don't even know what day it is anymore. It was a big event. I mean, You had the art dancers there. You had different artists even from around the country there.
Yeah.
Kind of showcasing their pieces. So tell us a little bit the process, like how that works, because it sounds like a lot of work.
Well,
you probably start right as soon as the event ends for the next one, right?
Yep. Yeah. Essentially. Each year I do it, I'm learning little tricks here and there, so that is plenty helpful. Biggest thing is, definitely plan enough in advance so you're not cutting yourself short.
Yeah.
So literally the next day after this year's show, I got a hold of Bozeman. I was like, hey, can we talk dates and get a deposit paid for and so on. Mm-hmm. So it's stressful at times, but it's nice because I get to pick and choose the level of stress.
Yeah.
So
that's always good.
Yeah.
How stressed do I want to be? This much stress or this much stress?
Yeah, exactly.
So how do you go about choosing the venue and choosing the artist? Do they come to you and say, hey, I want to be in your show? Or are you kind of out there enough in the community that, like, I for sure want that person in the show?
It's a bit of both, actually. I've been lucky through Instagram, actually. This next year's show, I've got 3 out-of-state artists signed up, and all of them, all through which I just met through Instagram. So
the power of social media.
Yeah.
That's how we met, through social media.
Yeah. So let's see. Oh, picking the venue.
Yeah.
So each year I do the show, I want to get it bigger and bigger, so therefore the space needs to be bigger as well.
And more money.
Yep.
It costs more money.
Yep. I want to keep the class up, like the quality of the artist is high, so I want the venue to still meet that criteria.
Yeah.
This year, or this next year, 2025, is going to be kind of a trial and error because it is 2 separate shows, but I'm trying to keep it marketed as one.
Okay.
So Bozeman is going to be somewhat of the kickoff show, quote unquote, to the Billings show, because Billings I'm going to always have as like the home base, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So the following year, like 2026, the venue might be in Missoula or Whitefish or somewhere.
Ooh.
So
yeah, you'll get a different group
vibe
of people
and crowd.
Too. Yeah. Will the art change depending on location, or is it just whatever you decide the artists are going to be?
It's kind of whoever wants to participate. I mean, I never want any of my artists or anyone going or coming to the show feel like they're pressured, you know? So subject matter has never really mattered to me that much. It's about supporting art as a whole.
Yeah.
So the shows aren't focused solely on like Western style or, you know, because I don't want to say it would be bland, but
Right.
it would be kind of bland if all the artists just
If
painted.
all of it's Western.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Because you want to appeal to different. Yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense. So what? So there was an artist that you had or this year, whenever that that did. I can't even remember what kind of art it was, but it was so cool. And I even thought about commissioning him to like do like a family portrait or something. I'm trying. I can't even explain. He was like portraits of people.
Oh,
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Henry Blonde.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was so cool.
He is based out of Albuquerque.
That's right, Albuquerque. Yeah.
So he's one of the artists that I'm waiting to hear back on.
Okay, see if they'll come back.
Yeah, fingers crossed on that.
Yeah.
He's self-taught from what I understand.
Wow.
Yeah. So
wow.
Yeah.
I wish you could know what I'm talking about because it was like the coolest art. Like I was, wow.
Well, just if you're on Instagram, just look up Henry Blonde art. He'll pop
Oh,
right
there you
up.
go.
So.
Thank you. Yes, yes. Check it out. It's really cool. And that's what's cool too is as you're walking around, some of these artists will do commission work, which means like if you have a specific, you know, piece that you would like, you can maybe talk to them about doing that.
Yeah.
Do you do that?
Sometimes. I mean, for me, every artist is different too.
Yeah.
But for me, commissions are always tough because the customer always has it in their head how they want the image.
Yeah.
So for me, I always have to ask like 20 questions before I even start. Like, how big do you want it? What are the colors you're after? What kind of style? Is there reference material? Like all that stuff.
Yeah.
Because once you start and then you show it to the client, then they're like, eh.
Yeah, what happens if if they just completely hate it? And you put all that work into it.
Well, I don't know about other artists, but for me, sometimes I've had to eat it.
Oh, really?
So then it'll just sit in the corner for a while and I'll think about it. Then I'll usually just paint over it.
Okay. So. Okay. So that has happened.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure it does. People, like you said, people like with hair, right? You go in and you say, I want it to look like this. But there's so many variables that your hair is not going to look exactly like that picture, right? And it's just like art. That's what makes art so cool is that it's never going to be exactly what you envision, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. So when I hear people say, oh, just paint me something, you have full free range, I emphasize like 2 or 3 times before I even start. Okay, so you want my take, right? Like, you're not pulling my leg here.
Right.
So, but no, I'm trying to get back in the swing of things for art myself. It's probably been 10 months since I painted.
Wow.
So,
well, you're so busy with this and
just
putting the show together.
Mental block.
Yeah, let's talk about that because we're both creators, right? Like I'm more. You should see my stick figures. Like I can't even draw a stick figure, but like I can create, I can choreograph, I can dance, but like the art part, like I can't paint, like paint by numbers, no. So, but like as a creator, you do get those blocks, right? Like even when I'm choreographing, I'm like I cannot even think of what to do next. What helps you kind of get through that block?
So, I mean, everyone has their own approach to things and their niches.
Yeah.
For me, I like to just listen to music.
Yeah,
music
does help.
I don't know. For me, I got to be barefoot a lot of times.
To feel the ground.
Like, feel grounded. Put on some music, whether it's like 80s tunes or just instrumental type stuff. And I won't necessarily start the project right away, but I'll listen to the music for a little bit and just kind of zone out and then just kind of work it through there.
Right.
And lots of coffee.
Lots of coffee. Which, by the way, thank you
No.
for the Red Bull today. I'm gonna be hyped.
Red Bull with Riley.
Yeah. You got Red Bull with Riley instead of coffee chat. Energy drink chat.
Yeah.
That's what we should call it next time. So music, grounding, any other, like, do you look at other artworks to kind of get inspiration?
Yeah, I mean, it totally makes sense. I'm sure you've heard it before. Like, if you want to be positive or in a creative mindset, you want to surround yourself with those type of people.
Yes.
So the people you surround yourself with, and even like the space you work or live in, needs to reflect that. Like, I don't have my own place yet, but someday when I do,
Someday you will.
oh yeah, you might be the realtor. So,
What do you mean might be? No,
well,
I just joking. Hey everybody, I see a bunch of people watching on Instagram. I just want to say hello.
my house will just be like from floor to ceiling covered in art.
Oh
Just-
yeah, just to surround yourself with that.
Yeah.
It's a good idea. Yeah, I always had this vision, because I like to dance, is to have that room with all the mirrors and the bars. And to have that, maybe maybe when I'm 80 and then I can't use it.
Oh no. Might still be surprised.
Yeah, might. You never know. So thank you for that, because I know that a lot of creators, I mean, even with digital creation, right? You get burnt out.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to do another reel. I don't want to do another post, especially when maybe you don't get the interaction that you're hoping for. Maybe that's the same with art, right? Like, you make this piece and you're like, this is amazing. And then nobody else maybe thinks that way. I mean,
Yeah.
have you found that with your art sometimes?
Oh yeah.
Or you think like, this is the greatest thing ever. And then people are like, eh.
Well, I didn't have them on display this last year, but I've got, they're on my Facebook and Instagram. It's called the 406 Crowd. And I painted those probably 4 years ago, but it's a series of 5, and it's just like typical animals you see in the Montana area: an elk, moose, bear, etc.
Oh yeah.
Very bright and bold colors, which, if you knew me growing up, I refused to use color at all. Like, I just strictly just did color pencil.
Just pencil.
Yeah.
Okay. Why?
So-
Why? You just didn't like color?
Well, I was like 7 or 8, and my mom enrolled me in an art class. She's like, I know you don't need the class, but you need to get exposed to color.
Okay.
And I explained to the teacher that I could see it in my head how I want to look in color, but I could never translate it on paper.
Oh.
So that would irritate me, and then I would crinkle it up and throw it out.
And
Like,
you're
yep, done. So I just solely stuck with pencil, and she worked with me, this instructor, and kind of got me in the mindset like, it's never going to be in your head on paper exactly. You just have to go for it.
Mhm.
And as I got older in high school, that's when I kind of started to work with colors a little bit more. And fast forward, getting sidetracked here, the 406 Crowd, when I first did it, I did a similar piece for a charity event. And a relative of mine was at the auction, and somebody commented thinking it was a Carol Hagen.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But then I guess when they walked up and saw the signature, they were like, "Oh."
That's
So it was kind of a high and a low, like,
Oh.
sweet, but you didn't buy my work.
Yeah, I guess they thought it was a Carol Hagen.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
dang it.
But
It's getting your name out there.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure it took her a very long time to get that recognition, right?
yeah,
And I mean, a lot of artists like that take some time.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's hurry up and wait.
Yeah, hurry up and wait. Well, colors for me would probably be the hard thing too, right? Like, what colors go together, what colors blend, you know what I mean? Like, we were talking before we went live, my office, I had to hire a stager to help me, because I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to think about it. Just tell me what to do. So yeah, like the color choices, how do you decide? That's gotta be probably the hardest part, right? Or is it not for you now? Maybe now that
Well,
you're used to colors.
not now. Like, honestly, I've got a paint box that I try to keep somewhat organized, but I'll literally just go to the paint box, pick a paint, and if it's empty, throw it out, and if it's full, then I use it. Like,
Okay.
it's a little random, but that's my
That's a way to
method.
do it. I like that. Yeah. This pencil's not sharp, but I'm not using it.
Yeah, pretty much. So,
Do you ever like because you probably have some art pieces that you worked on, right? Do you
Mhm.
ever like just you hate it and then you just trash it, throw it away?
Yeah.
Do you really? See,
Uh,
okay, I'm trying to understand that process. So my son, he makes music
mhm.
and he'll put stuff out and I'm like, oh my God, this is great. And then he's like, I hate it. And he'll just completely delete it from his like Spotify out. I'm like, why are you doing that? I just don't like it. And it's not me anymore. I'm like, but keep it out there because you never know, someone might like it later on. I mean, like, look at Milli Vanilli right now is making a big comeback, right? Like,
Yeah.
so like, tell me what that is for you to just like be like, you know what, it's trash instead of just keeping it or give it to somebody. I'm trying to understand that mindset because maybe I'm a hoarder because I keep everything even though I hate it.
Oh,
I'm a weirdo.
So you're not gonna like this.
Oh, okay.
I take it to the extreme, and I'll actually just have a bonfire.
You burn it.
Yep.
You just burn it. Wow. Okay.
I try not to do it so much anymore because then I'm like, that's canvas that I just spent money on.
But yeah, because
so,
that's not cheap.
well, and I always try to hit sales. I never try to get anything like full price.
Yeah.
So, but it just depends on my mood and how irritated I am and like how my week's been. And a bonfire always calms everybody down. So if I have a pile over here that's full of rejects, I'm like, okay, I'm having a bonfire tonight.
Wow.
So,
An art burning party.
yeah.
Kind of like that. That's kind of cool. But do you ever have regret? Like, have you ever regretted burning something or throwing something away? No.
No, not really, because I mean, I don't know, like little kids, especially, they're just intrigued by fire, the way it glows and
Yeah.
dances and stuff. I kind of get lost in that, so then that gets my brain thinking on, well, this next piece, maybe I could do this instead. Like it kind of helps recharge, I guess.
Inspires you.
Yeah.
That's just so interesting.
So
You're like, burn, baby, burn. I don't want to ever see
throw
it
some
again.
gasoline
Yeah.
on it.
Oh wow, that's awesome. Okay, so now, okay, I guess I'm understanding. But he can't burn his music. I guess. He said. I don't know. Maybe less satisfaction.
Well, everyone does totally go through different processes
Yeah.
too. I mean,
Sure. Yeah, the creative stuff. You know, it's just very intriguing. So, what did inspire you to start creating art? And how old were you?
well, it's kind of always been pretty much since I was born. Like both sides of my family have artistic traits
Okay,
and
so it
family
kind of
members.
runs in the family. Okay.
And neither one of my parents like actively do art, but they have always appreciated art.
Mm-hmm.
So growing up, my sisters and I, we would see Bev Doolittle's on the walls. Like I don't know if you're familiar with her. You'll have to look her up.
Bev Doolittle.
She creates images inside of images. Like it'll be a mountain scene, but of a guy on a horse, but the mountain's face formation.
Oh, cool.
So we grew up seeing pieces like that. My parents have a couple bronze pieces, and as we were growing up, sometimes just being kids, curiosity, we want to touch things and everything. We were taught like, no, you can look, but you can't touch. So there was always that appreciation and respect for art.
Right.
And God, I can't remember how old I was. Maybe second grade.
Okay.
My mom gifted me an art book that she had from college that she found, I think, in a closet or something.
Yeah.
But, and I still have it too.
No way.
Yeah.
Do you ever revert back to it? Like.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm definitely old school
Yeah.
on some things. Like I miss landlines. and physical paper, you know. Like
Oh, I'm all about physical paper.
Yeah, like, I'd much rather visually see it
Yes.
than have to look on a
screen.
So
yeah, I still use a paper planner. People give me crap all the time about it.
yeah,
Hey, it gets me through. I like scribbling things off my to-do list.
well, and it gets you in the habit too of remembering cursive. 'Cause
Yes,
they don't even
cursive.
train that or teach that
What the
anymore.
heck? I know. How do you sign your name if you don't know cursive?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
Like, I think my daughter, because she's 12, she's probably that last group that learned cursive, because she can write some cursive, but she's not like, she knows enough to write her name.
yeah.
That's it. And I'm like, how is this new generation going to sign their name?
Yeah.
Anything? Why did they get rid of cursive?
So listen up, that's an art form in itself.
It is an art form. And calligraphy.
Yes.
I don't know why they got rid of that. Why do you think they did?
Laziness?
You think?
I don't know. That's what
Nobody wanted to teach cursive anymore. Do you? Okay. Sorry, I'm kind of sidelining here. Cursive writing, like for me, I'm horrible. Like my penmanship is terrible. Everybody that's watching that knows me know this. I write like a doctor, but it's like half cursive, half print. Like, because I just do so fast. Like some of it's print, but some do you do that, or is it just all cursive?
It's all cursive. Okay. It's bad. Like, excuse me. Like in high school, my English teacher hated grading my papers. She would come up to me and say, "You've got beautiful handwriting, but it's so neat, I can't read it."
So neat, she couldn't read it.
Yeah, so that was kind of an oxymoron a little bit.
Hey, what?
Yeah, so I don't know. I think she might have felt like my writing was so tight and close together, so I had to just learn to slow down a little bit, kind of elongate somewhat. I mean, it worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Neat, I can't read it. So how has your style evolved over the years? What would you say your style is now?
Whatever comes to my head.
Okay.
So
like would you say more, I mean, I guess I don't really know the lingo, like abstract, is it more classical? I don't know what's
sure.
The different.
Well,
I'm still learning myself. Can you tell?
Well, just quickly going back to Bev Doolittle,
yeah.
Like I said, I always had an appreciation for her work, her style. I'm not replicating an exact piece of hers, but I'm trying to paint my own version or my take on her work.
Because you're inspired.
Yeah. So what I'm doing is it's a 18 by 24 canvas. I'm painting a mountain scene with bison, just black and white, very simple. But the mountain formation, you familiar with the buffalo nickel?
Yeah.
So the face profile, I'm using that to make a profile of mountains.
Ooh, that's cool.
So
this is something you're working on right now?
Yep.
Okay.
Actually.
Is it going to be at your art show?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. That gives me enough time. It's not till April, so. Yeah, sometime. Yeah, this is a bad photo. But like, see,
yeah.
I'm trying not to make the focal point just on the face. Mm-hmm. So I've been trying to watch like documentaries or tutorials with Bev Doolittle.
Yeah.
So her process was she would take two images and then just try to merge them. Mm-hmm. And she would draw one half of the image and then not look at it, throw it away essentially, mm-hmm. and then look at the other one. And then she would refer back to the first one and just start painting and just try to hide the second image within.
Oh, wow.
So
yeah, that's cool.
So it's definitely a dissecting it, I guess, in a way. Like in my head, I can see how it looks, but it's just dissecting each layer, like figuring out how you're going to lay it out.
Right.
So
that's cool. There's a lot to it.
Yeah,
So
but
how long does it, from start to finish, how long does something like this take you?
uh, if I were to truly start to finish, probably 2.5 weeks or so,
Oh, okay.
roughly. But that start to finish, I mean, I maybe will work on a piece 30 minutes one night, and then
Yeah.
if it's my Friday and I know I don't have to be up, then
Right.
I might paint all night till 6 in the morning.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, because I can just get in tune so much that I just totally zone out. I forget I'm hungry, sleepy,
Like
you name
hyper
it.
focused.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah. I have ADD, so I get that. And all of a sudden you're getting stuff done. Right? This will just intensify it a little bit more. But it's like a superpower, right? When you do get in that like focus mode where it's like nothing else matters around you. You're just like
Yep.
doing this task.
Well, and I feel like it's a blessing and a curse sometimes, almost like I'll stop painting, realize it's 6 in the morning, and it's like,
You're like, oh, I better sleep.
well, it's like, oh my God, I've only done this little bit, or like I feel like I've accomplished so much, and then you look at the time, and it's like,
Where's this?
so sometimes it's rewarding, sometimes it's kind of like, oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. What have I been doing with my time? Yeah. Yeah. I get it. I get it. So is there a particular piece of art that you have done that just really resonates a special, like maybe a memory, or you're just like, this is my favorite, like my most favorite, and you don't even want to sell it, maybe it's something that you want to keep.
Um,
Does that ever happen as an artist where you're just like, you know what, I don't want to let this one go, I want to keep it?
yeah, so it's funny. It's been 4 years ago, but I was an extra on Yellowstone.
Yeah, we chatted about that last time. I thought that was so cool.
Actually waiting to hear back on that again.
Oh, did you really?
Well, for the prequel series in Butte, 1923. So.
Dude, what? How am I missing all these? What the heck? I wanted to apply for one of those extras.
I'll send you the link.
Thank you. Please do. Not that they'll pick me. I don't think I fit.
Oh, you never know.
I did apply once and they didn't pick me.
They probably had realtors back in that time.
Yeah, wanted to buy a house. Let's get her in there.
Well, sidetrack. Going back to that, when I found out I was going to be on that show, actually I had done the piece before during the opening credits of Yellowstone. For those of you out there that follow the show, you know what I'm talking about. Have you seen the show at all?
I have.
So the opening titles, where it's like the sepia tone photographs that are like live, that have that yellow tint to it.
Yep, I can envision it right now, actually, in my head.
Well, and that music like that is kind of what I listen to at times too.
Okay.
Like just that real deep emotional instrumental. There was an opening scene that I think it was right before Kevin Costner's name comes on screen, but
Is this yours?
Yep, and that's the piece itself.
Wow.
And that's actually my first and only oil piece.
Wow.
So,
that's cool.
Because I wanted that same look that you get on the credits, kind of that.
It does. Yeah, it does. It's very similar to the credits. Can we see if we can show maybe? I don't know if it'll show you.
You can see the full image on my site.
Yeah, check out his site and you can see it. And so have you kept that then?
I've got the original, but I've been selling prints of it, so.
That's right, prints. You can do prints.
10 by 20, 125.
Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool. I know there's a lot of Yellowstone pieces that are out there.
Oh yeah.
We had a lot of movement into Montana because of that show.
Well, and it's been away so long, I don't know if people have lost interest or not.
Yeah, you don't hear it as much anymore. And what is there? Are they filming the sixth season, or is the sixth season already out? Or are they done? Was the fifth the last one?
I think they're done.
Okay, but now they're doing the 1923 and okay.
So
I have not seen the finale yet.
I haven't either. I think it comes out next month.
Oh, okay.
So.
Okay, so I thought I missed it. Okay. I'm a little like I don't know. Let's talk about Yellowstone a little bit. Did you find the season 5 has just been kind of like eh?
Yeah, I mean, there were only bits and pieces that it was like, yes, it's got me hooked.
Yeah.
And the rest of it just it flatlined
Yeah,
a little bit
Yeah.
to me. Like the scenes just would kind of drag on a
Right.
little bit.
Yeah. And some of it seemed repeated too. Like, okay, we get it, Beth. Okay. You know what I mean? Like her character, I don't know. I think they just went a little overboard with her character, I thought.
Well, and it's as soon as you said repetitive, that totally like.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about then.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain it, but if you're a Yellowstone fan, you probably understand. So yeah, it's been kind of hard to get through season 5 for me, honestly.
I mean, it's a good show still.
Totally. Yeah.
There's definitely some parts that are scream Hollywood, but then there's some parts that it's like, yeah, this is truly like how it is around this area, how people are, etc.
Right.
But
yeah,
so
yeah, I'll get through it. I have to finish it now. I've gone this far. So when will you hear back? Like if you
so I sent in an application 2 days ago, so hopefully soon.
Oh, so it's pretty recent.
Yeah, filming they said is next month in Butte, so
like in the winter time.
Yeah.
Ooh.
During the 20s, so that will be pretty fun.
Yikes. Maybe I want to apply then. I don't think I want to drive to Butte in November.
You'll apply, but be like inside only.
Yeah, only inside or in the spring. If there's spring shots, you don't contact me in the winter.
Well, you might get in a buffalo coat then or something.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the costumes and everything, that was real fun to see.
Oh yeah.
Oh, just the behind the scenes, like the props and everything. One thing that I thought was really cool too during filming was like if this was a scene that we were filming, this scene might be done 6 or 8 times.
Yeah, because they got to get all the different.
Yep.
Yeah, it's one thing that people don't know because I've done a small production movie before, and it is weird because, like you said, you and I will be talking. They get that right. And then we have to do it again. They're getting it from this angle, and we have to do it again. They get it. It's like, why can't they just have how many cameras like going at once? You know what I mean? But that's not how it works.
That'd be too easy.
Yeah, it'd be way too easy. So let's see. We already talked about that. I got ahead of myself. How does so you live in Billings?
Yep.
Have you always lived in Billings?
For about 10 years now.
Okay.
5th generation Montanan, but let's see, I was born in Havre, moved around a little bit, but we lived in Columbus for about 20 years. So
nice. Yeah, I like Columbus. It's just kind of that little. It's like you drive there and it's like, well, this is not like Billings at all. Like there's a lot of mountains and trees, and it's just really pretty. So how does the local environment in Billings like affect your art? Like, do you get inspired, or a certain part of Billings that you go to get inspired, or scenery, or landmarks?
Yeah, I mean, weather in Montana is definitely a factor if you're going to be outside or not.
Yeah.
We've been lucky this year so far.
It has been so warm. Yes.
I mean, for me, I like a good drink, like whether it's craft beer or just whiskey or whatever the case. So depends on my day. Like if I got a lot going on at work and I get off early enough that I can still go out, I'll go out for a beer. So
where do you like to go?
Kind of a different spot each time. Like I don't like to go to the same place.
Okay, you're not like a Cheers guy where you're at
the Cheers. No. Although that would be fun.
And they know you by name.
Well, yeah. I don't know. At that point, it'd be like, God, I need to change this up.
They you don't even order. They just give you your drink.
Yeah, right when you walk in.
Yeah.
That's I think kind of the artist too side of me. Like I don't ever want to feel like I'm in a rut, or like, I guess my terminology is feel like I'm in limbo.
Sure.
Like if you do the same thing over and over, it just gets stale.
Stagnant, yeah.
So I like to go out to different places when I can and just sit at the bar, sip on my drink, and just kind of take in the environment. And depending on how noisy and chaotic it is, if there's music playing in the background, then I'll just sit and listen. And
Yeah.
if it's an artist I recognize, I'll listen to them. But if not, I just use the Shazam app and go from there. But that's, yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
what's your favorite whiskey?
Irish, but I'm not a big Jameson fan.
Yeah.
So,
Jameson, and I think, yeah, my husband's watching. He says good morning. We once had a really bad experience of us both drinking Jameson in Vegas. We found out that I turned into an old World War I vet, and he turns into maybe more of, he's gonna hate that I say this, but more of like emotional housewife. Like we kind of like turn into these different characters, and it does not go well. So we know now. I don't drink anymore, but when I was drinking, if he wanted the Irish whiskey, I'd be like, I want something else. Like we're not gonna drink this at the same time.
Now it's gonna bring the war vet out of retirement.
TMI, right? But like, I mean, certain alcohols can maybe affect you a little different, right? Like tequila, I'd turn into like, I want to fight everybody. But wine, I'll just be like, hey, I'm everybody's friend.
More mellow.
So, I mean, do you find that? Like, do you drink all sorts of alcohol, or do you just stick with your whiskey and beer?
It's whiskey or vodka.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay. We're kind of getting personal here.
Yeah, no, I'm tattling on myself now too.
But it is interesting, right?
Yeah, so when I turned 21, we didn't bar hop or anything. We still lived in Columbus, and my parents took me out to dinner, and then we went to the New Atlas bar. They had a shot with me, and then my dad bought my first legal beer. Then they went home. My sister got off work, and she and the bartender were picking and choosing what I was drinking that evening. So beer, mixer, shots, all this.
Mixing everything.
Yeah.
God.
Closed out the bar, so it's like 2 in the morning. And Ruthie, the bartender, she gave me a hug, and she stuck a sticky note in my pocket. She was keeping tallies of all the drinks that I was having. I had 23 shots. And
are you serious?
Yeah.
How are you still standing?
I don't know.
And this was your first. This was your 21st.
Yep. So, and my mom, she remembers this. She's like, oh my God, you have your father's liver. I was up by 7:30, 8 o'clock that next morning, and had coffee with her on the back patio.
And you were fine.
I was perfectly fine.
Wow. That is insane.
So it's a blessing and a curse. Like, so I taught myself, if I go out, I'll have cash. So and when I'm out of cash, then I'm done drinking.
That's
like,
smart. That's smart. 23 shots. Oh my God. It is interesting how certain people, like, they can just hold their liquor, right? Like a friend of ours, Johnny, he can just drink and drink and drink and drink, and it's totally fine. And I'm like, I would be like on the floor dead. Yeah. Like, honestly, like when I did drink, I was maybe, I don't know, I think the most drinks I had, okay, I'm going to get a little bit more TMI here. I went to a conference, and they had a street party for us. And of course it was free. Everything was free, right? I had 7 vodka sodas that night, and I had to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to run a race on the beach. And I wanted to die. Like every 5 minutes, I was like, I'm going to throw up. I'm going to throw up. And it was hot, and I'm running, and I'm still drunk. And worse.
On the sand, probably. Too.
On the sand, worst experience ever. So I figured 7 is probably was my limit back then. I don't know. I don't drink anymore, but yeah. I was surprised I was still alive, honestly, off like 2 hours of sleep. So anyway, getting back to it's kind of on an alcohol conversation. Do you have like a favorite bar here in town, or are you just kind of wherever something is happening?
Yeah, just kind of wherever. I
Yeah.
mean, I like to support local as much as I can. I love breweries, so I like to go to them.
Billings is really like that's our thing. We have really good breweries here. I
Yeah.
would say, yeah, for sure. We've got what Angry Hanks. We've got the Cider House. What else we got?
Oh God, let's see. We got Canyon Creek, Thirsty
I forgot about Canyon
Street.
Creek. Thirsty Street, yep. Thirsty
Um,
Street.
I heard we're getting a couple new ones though.
Oh,
There's going to be a coffee shop slash brewery in the Heights.
oh,
Yeah.
that'd be good for the Heights because they don't really have much up there as far as
Mm-mm.
that goes. Okay,
So
cool. That's awesome. Mix in the coffee with alcohol. Have your alcohol and then your coffee after to wake you up. What was the, whatever? Oh, my question about the local bar. Just go to the bars.
support local.
Yeah. So if you could collaborate with any artist, like any artist ever,
Oh
who
boy.
would that be, dead or alive?
Oh boy,
I know,
there's
that's
so
a tough
many.
one. Yeah, totally didn't ask this question.
Gosh, I'm not really sure. So actually, no, I think I know one. He was a French artist, I believe, during the 1600s. No, 1700s.
Oh, wow, you're way back.
Yeah. His name was Gustave Dior.
That kind of sounds familiar. What kind of art did he do?
So he illustrated like a lot of religious imagery,
Okay.
but he also did like mythology pieces as
Ooh.
well. I know there's a term for his style. I can't think of it though, but you know how like dollar bill, like money imagery looks like, where if you look real close, it's just all
these
fine
little
lines. That's how his imagery looks.
Oh, okay.
And it was all done with like graphite and charcoals. So yeah.
Like fine lines with charcoal?
Yeah.
Wow.
Some lead, I think too. But,
Wow.
and his imagery is so detailed. Like it just, if you have a chance, look him up. Like I love it.
Huh, I'll have to check it out. That sounds cool.
But I mean, I like that type of work. Not necessarily a big fan of Andy Warhol, but I like some of his work, you know, like I have a wide range. It's not just one style I like, you know.
Right.
So
yeah, that's kind of how I am with art. Like it just, if I see it and I like it, that's it. I'm not like, oh, I only like this or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that either.
Yeah.
But it's just I feel like you're kind of boxing yourself in or limiting yourself.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
Yeah, like it again kind of feels like you're in that rut. Like I don't want to try that new restaurant, or I don't want to try the new pair of shoes or whatever.
Yeah.
So
just gotta try new things. I bought an art piece once at an art show. Do you know William DeManio?
That name sounds
He
familiar.
had an art show several years ago. We actually did a coffee chat like this, and so I went, and I wasn't going to buy anything. I was like, I'm not buying. But I saw this piece, and like, do you find that people, it just speaks to them? There's something that gives them like this emotional whatever.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, it's like this canvas, and all it is this blackness in the middle, and like all this blue kind of coming out of it. And it kind of reminded me of space in a way, or like this never ending, like infinity. I don't know. There's something about it that I really like about it. It is sitting in my other office right now. But yeah, it just has to speak to you, right? Like, yeah.
Well, and I know there's people out there that they go to Targets or they go to a franchise like that, and they just load their car up on that type of art
Yeah.
because it's 40% off.
Right.
Like they're not genuinely buying it because they're drawn to it. I feel like sometimes they're just drawn to the sale, you know?
That or like the color scheme.
Yeah, and
yeah.
that type of stuff is just so mass produced that you might go to dinner to your friend Sally's next weekend and find out it's the same piece you have, you know, like there's no individuality
Right.
owning a piece like that.
That is true.
So that's another reason why I like to buy art. I mean, of course, you'll have prints and stuff mass produced necessarily, but it's
Yeah, and that's and I think part of it too was he explained how like it was like one of those things where he dropped some paint or something and it just did this thing and that's what it produced. And I thought that was really cool. So I think I've bought 3 art pieces now from different artists.
Sure.
Just because their story, and I think that's a big thing too, is telling the story of how it got made, right? Like your story about your piece that you just showed us there.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know. I think it just adds something, like you said, as opposed to like I've got some art pieces over there that I just got it on Amazon, but they're not as special, right? And they're not unique. So yeah, and I think that's sometimes what people forget when they're like, oh God, it's this much. You know what I mean? But I mean that was time that artist put into it and money. I mean, really, the supplies and all of that. So yeah, don't look at the price, just buy it.
Yes.
Just buy the damn art. So what's the most unusual material or tool you've ever used to create a piece of art?
I painted on burlap a couple times.
Really?
That's been kind of fun. Yeah.
That's interesting. It's very like
textured. Yeah. Yeah. The older I've gotten, I like texture. Like you don't necessarily even have to touch something if it's heavily textured. Just know it's how it's going to feel. You know. Biggest thing with burlap that I learned was you got to use a lot of water. Well, with acrylics anyway, like it depends on what you're using.
Sure.
But let's see, that was the most.
Burlap. Interesting. What did you paint on the burlap?
So I still have the piece, but it's in storage.
Okay. It's in storage. You must not have liked it that much.
Well, it's not in the bonfire. So
okay. All right.
It's in shades of like blacks, blues, and whites. Like I wanted to create ocean waves like coming at you, but I wanted them to look like clouds too.
Oh, yeah.
So it's very loose. Yeah, it's kind of hard to explain.
Is it like just like the burlap? Is it an actual burlap sack that you paint on, or is it just a big piece of burlap?
So it was actually a piece of burlap that was stretched on stretcher bars.
Okay.
So it was a canvas, just burlap was the canvas material instead.
Okay, gotcha. That's cool. That would be hard to paint on.
Well, when I bought it, I was so excited, and then I was like, crap.
Yeah. Well, how do I do this?
Yeah. And because I'd never seen anything painted on it before, so I'm like, it's not like I can really do much research.
Right.
Let's see here.
Yeah. Do many people do burlap?
I'm not sure.
Oh, wow. That is cool. Wow, that is, I don't know if you can see this. This is super cool. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. I can get it in that light. That is so cool. I like that a lot. That's awesome. That should not be in your storage.
Well,
that needs to be on a wall somewhere or put it in your art show.
Yeah.
You're like, no, I'm not doing that.
I don't know.
I like that. That's really cool.
Well, and I don't know. Each year I do the shows, it's getting harder for me to be in them myself.
Sure.
Like, I don't feel like my stuff is quite up to par with everyone else's.
Yes, it is. You have imposter syndrome like I do.
Yeah.
Just put it in there.
It is a little intimidating though, because I've been lucky to have like Kevin Red Star in my shows and other big names. And they've made a name for themselves and they can charge what they charge.
Right.
And then you got my stuff and it's, I don't know.
How do you decide what to charge for something?
Well, so everyone's different on their
Yeah.
pricing, and I got asked that once, like it was an old roommate. Oh boy, whoa,
Oh.
we went down the rabbit hole. He had asked me like, why can't you just accept $60 or whatever? Like he was totally like lowballing it.
Jeez. And how much was it?
I can't remember what piece I was working on, but I just like he was genuinely curious, so we were just having the conversation, and then that kind of went downhill quickly.
$60. That seems
Yeah.
already, I'm like, wow, that's cheap.
Well, like I explained to him, like, well, there's materials, there's time, and explaining that to him, he immediately was, well, you didn't go to college.
What?
So that's where it went downhill. Yeah.
What does it matter if you went to college?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that don't go to college. I didn't go to college.
Yeah. So, and that just got me thinking even deeper and deeper. And I ultimately was like, well, I guess it's in how serious I want to be taken. I'm not going to sell it this cheap because I don't want people to be like, well, I can just go to Target, you know, and get something that I want.
Yeah.
So for me, it's pricing how serious I want to be taken, and kind of also like realistically thinking how much would I spend if I was the buyer. I mean, and that's my take on it. I know every artist has different takes and what he or she would do.
Right. Right. Good for you. You're sticking with your, I mean, value. Right.
Well, because it really dissected that a lot because, I mean, you charge the way you charge, but you're not the only realtor in town.
Right.
So I explained to him too, like there's more than just one artist out there. There's more than just one doctor. And you totally get what you pay for.
Yeah, exactly.
That's across the board.
Exactly.
So
that's right. Yeah.
If you want a cheap deal, then it's going to be cheap work.
Right. Yeah.
Like
exactly.
And that's what I try to emphasize on my shows too, because art is everywhere.
Yeah.
It's an art to be a realtor. It's an art to be a bartender.
Yeah,
Go back to that.
It really is. It really is.
So when you go out to dinner, you pay your bill. I mean, you're not gonna talk to the waiter and be like, well, the steak was crispy, or like, will you take 30 instead of the 70?
Yeah. I mean, I have seen people do that, but I just pay it. I'm like, whatever, I'll pay you.
Yeah. But it does. It just needs to be the same for art. Like,
right.
I don't know. I could talk about that all day. Because you either get it or you don't, and that's fine. If you don't understand it and want to like learn more, I'll talk about it. But if you're not getting it, after a while, I just feel like beating my head against the wall.
You're not meant to have my art.
Yep.
You can't have it.
There's the door.
You can't have my art now. That's just interesting. I always wondered that, like how you decided, what to charge and all that. But let's see, we already asked that. Oh, I like this one. How do you balance creating art for yourself versus creating for an audience? Like basically, like how do you just like do you just make it for yourself, or are you thinking what would people like?
I used to think what people like. Then after a while, it was kind of like, you know what, I need to paint what I want.
Yes.
If I was solely working on commissions, then that would be a different thing. Sure. But I don't feel like I would be creating as much.
Right.
I used to worry about like sizes, especially because I've had people in the past or just hear like through the grapevine, oh, I like that piece, but it didn't fit over my couch, or I wanted it above my toilet or something.
How do you,
there's so many variables. So I'll paint like as small as a 5x5 on some pieces, and then I'll paint like a whole wall
Right.
on others. And then if someone's interested, then the conversation might turn into, well, if you like this, I can do a commission similar in the size you want.
Oh, okay.
Or if that's the exact piece they want, I'll try to see if they're fine or open to a print. Because I can have the prints resized to fit that.
Right.
So.
Okay. So there's ways around it then.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, anything to make a deal.
Well, I was gonna say, how do you can't think about what everybody wants because there's so, like you said, so many variables. You can't make everybody happy, right?
Mhm.
Everybody has different styles and tastes, and yeah. No, I agree with that because even when choreographing, I can't constantly think, well, what is the people gonna like? You know what I mean? I'm just gonna do it and hopefully they like it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Obviously, the director has to like it, but.
Well, hey, this is talking about the finished art product, like finished result.
Mm-hmm.
Getting the piece framed, if it's painting.
Oh yeah.
I'll frame my originals, but as far as the prints, I just get them shrink wrapped because it's so hard to know what someone's gonna like.
Yeah.
And it's like if I spent the money to frame it and then try to sell it.
Framing is
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my taste and yours might be totally different,
Right.
or they might be similar.
Right.
And I'm not gonna spend the money because there's also been times where you hear people, I like the painting, but the frame doesn't match my couch.
Yeah.
And then it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's the frame should speak for the art. It shouldn't have to like.
Yeah.
That just to me just it's like you're not appreciating the art.
Right. If you're concentrating on the frame.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Exactly.
So.
Exactly. Yeah. Because do you frame your own stuff or do you take it somewhere?
I take it somewhere.
Yeah. It doesn't say that'd be it. Like the cutting of it and the sizing and yeah, that seems like a lot. We kind of talked about that already. Wow, I just kind of get past myself here. Oh, here's a good one. So, what advice would you give to aspiring artists looking to find their voice? My stomach just growled. My stomach's like, it's my voice.
Take a chance.
Yeah, just do it. Go for it.
Just
Send
go for it.
I love that. Don't be scared.
No, you can't. I'm definitely a little more, what's the word? Crude at times, I guess you could say. Like when I started the shows, I was 25 and I just kind of told myself, well, I'm not in college debt. I don't have a wife and kids. I got nothing really holding me back. Mm-hmm. I don't know what I want to do for a job. Why the hell can't I do an art show? So I kind of just threw caution to the wind and
just did it.
Yep.
Just 5 years later.
Yep.
That's awesome.
So for me, I kind of trained myself, well, like even getting tattoos or just going on a road trip or whatever, or being an extra on a TV show. If I come across something or hear something that I want to do and I'm having second thoughts about it, I'll find a mirror and tell myself, F it, 3 times, and then just do it.
I like that. I like that. Yeah, because I mean, what do you got to lose?
Yeah, I mean, it's experience. Like every show I've done, I've learned what to do, what not to do, little things to tweak here and there, and you just have to go for it.
Yeah, because what do they say? If you're not failing, you're not growing. Right?
I don't think I've heard that.
You haven't heard that?
That's a good one.
Yeah, if you're not failing, you're not growing. Because I mean, you're not going to grow unless you fail at something. That's how you learn. Like, oh shit, I'm not going to do that again, or I'm going to do it better this way. Or I mean, how many times in this coffee chat I've.
Well, and the biggest thing too for me is it's the networking.
Yeah.
Like, if I hadn't done the shows all those years ago, I would have never met those artists, met those connections, or even met you.
Right.
I mean, it builds on itself. So for me, my advice is just take the chance, put yourself out there, and surround yourself with creative people or people that are going to be supporting you.
Yeah.
Biggest thing that I taught myself was I went through Vista Prints, spent 20-30 bucks on like 60 tickets or business cards.
Oh, Vistaprint. I love Vistaprint. Anything on there for cheap.
Well, and my business cards have evolved luckily, but just to get your name out there, just have basic contact information, and everywhere I went, whether it was a coffee shop, bar, restaurant, theme park, whatever.
Theme park.
Well, or just wherever you go, when you get your receipt, I just would always leave a business card.
Oh.
Like just going old school somewhat.
Maybe I should do that as a realtor. I might get some more business. here's my. I have to make sure I tip them.
Yeah. Can't afford a tip. Here's my card.
Here's my card. We could be friends. That's fair then.
Yeah.
I love that advice. So just do it. Just send it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, like you said, I wouldn't be where I am today had I not just said, like you said, F it, right? Just do it.
Yeah.
Get it done. And if it sucks, then you know.
Well, and you're the only one that knows you're failing.
Yeah.
I mean, unless it's dramatically big.
Right.
But
right.
at the end of the day, you got to look at the consequences. So
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah, that's true.
go for it.
That's true. Not everybody's watching you. You think they are, but you're not. They're not.
Well, and I'm to the point anymore. If people are really going to watch me, then put on a show.
Yeah.
I,
We're all our what do they say? Main characters in our stories, like really. That's what it boils down to. Quickly before we end, your tattoos. Do you ever draw your own tattoos?
Yep.
And then, or are they all your own original?
Yep.
Are
Well,
they?
at
Okay.
least like the concepts anyway.
Okay.
So
Cool.
some of the tattoos, I've just let the artist kind of have his or her own.
Embellish it or
Yeah.
whatever. That's
But,
cool.
Never gone through like Instagram or anything like that.
Yeah, like Pinterest.
No.
I can't say the same for me.
Oh.
Except for one, I have a dancer tattoo on my back, and it was actually a piece of art. I can't remember what it's called now. But there was actually 3 dancers in the piece of art, and I always had my eye on the one. For some reason, I don't know if it was her hair or what she was doing, and I was like, I want that. Like, so I took it to my tattoo artist. It was my first tattoo ever, and I was like, I want this, but I want her hair to be this. Like, so he kind of modified it a little bit, but yeah, that was pretty cool, and it's like a special one to me. But I can never see it 'cause it's on my back.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, it's back there. Oh, I forgot it's back there. That's the only thing with tattoos, but it's fun to get creative.
Well, and right out of high school, I started working at a tattoo shop.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like you did it yourself, or
Yeah.
you tattooed people?
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Yeah, it was a fun experience.
It's just a different
Form of
canvas.
art. Yep.
Yeah. Skin.
Because as a freshman, maybe even an 8th, like when I was younger in school, I was getting approached by seniors, like all these older kids. They were coming up to me, and it was like, oh God. But they were coming up to me wanting me to draw tattoo designs for them.
Oh.
So sophomore, junior year, everyone's always asking, what are you going to do after school? Are you going to go to college, work related, all that kind of stuff. Everyone in my class is like, I'm going to be a dental hygienist. I'm going to be a dumpster man. I'm going to be
a dumpster man.
Well, like everyone was coming up with their own careers that they were wanting. And when it came to me, it was like, I want to either be a bartender or a tattoo artist.
Oh, wow.
And I don't think a lot of the teachers appreciated that.
Yeah.
My parents were not on board with that 100% right out the gate either. But it's funny, the shop that I apprenticed under, my parents actually went to school with those artists.
Oh, okay.
So they knew of each other and their families. So then my mom was a little more at ease with it. And yeah, I don't know. I liked that environment too, because you're surrounded by art all day.
Right.
So,
Yeah, exactly. How long did you do that for?
uh, 2.5 years.
Did you not? Did you not like it? Is that why you stopped, or did you have a
Well,
bad
it just
experience?
no, it was a great experience. God, let's see, I started working like the day after graduation.
Mhm.
Um, I was bartending in Columbus, working at Costco, and apprenticing.
Oh, okay.
So I was working like 6 to almost 7 days a week for
Wow.
2.5 years, doing all those jobs. Uh, just mentally, physically, just total burnout
Yeah.
everywhere, and essentially quit all 3 jobs.
Oh, okay. You're just like, I'm just done.
Yeah. And that's when I started working for the airlines.
Oh, did you work for the airlines? I just had a gentleman that worked for the airlines here last week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
United.
I was a baggage handler for them.
Oh, okay. Oh, funny.
Yeah. So.
Cool. So, did you ever have any bad experiences with tattooing people? Like, was there ever like you're just like, I'm not doing this anymore? Did you jack up a tattoo on somebody's skin, or any bad experience stories, or was it all okay?
No, it was all good. I didn't really have any bad or funny stories.
Any interesting parts of a body that you had
No.
tattooed? Really?
I mean, that was kind of a letdown. Yeah, not really.
Okay. Yeah.
Everyone I worked with had all these great funny stories, and I was kind of like, I tattooed a lot of like Montana outlines,
Oh.
like on the back of people's shoulders. I did a
Okay.
lot of Pinterest tattoos.
Yes. Yes.
So that's it. Just yeah.
That was interesting. I like that.
Well, it was funny. Everyone always has to ask if it's their first tattoo, is it going to hurt?
Yeah. And what do you say? Are you honest?
I am. Like I told them, for me, the best way to describe it is it's not a cat scratch,
Right.
like most people say.
Right.
I would describe it as like if you put your hand over ice cold water to the point where you can't tell if it's hot or cold. It's just a numb, tingly feeling.
Oh.
And obviously, depending on the size of the piece, where it's on your body, etc. After a while, your body just naturally goes numb to it.
It does, yeah.
So
I feel like it's a rug burn, like that feeling of a rug burn when you get a rug burn. That's what it feels like to me. I'm sure everybody feels it differently. You know what I mean? Some people have more tolerance, and I know like gingers. You're ginger.
yeah.
Your pain tolerance is a little bit. I mean, do you find that? Or is that a myth?
That's a myth.
Okay. A couple of gingers I've talked to have said that their pain tolerance is just not there.
Well, and it does depend where you get it to. Like I'm currently in the middle of a back piece,
Okay.
and that I feel every.
The back, yeah, especially like right here, like it tickles too. So it's like a weird tickle pain.
Yeah, no,
No, not for you.
Tickle.
Oh, okay.
No, this last time I told my artist, God, I feel like you're cutting out my kidney.
Where is it, on the upper back or
Like it's
middle?
the entire back.
Oh, your entire back.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I just remember laughing and crying at the same time when I got my first tattoo on my back.
So when I was apprenticing, I had to get some guinea pigs or volunteers, quote unquote. My dad volunteered.
Oh gosh.
He'd never been tattooed before.
It was his first tattoo.
Yeah,
Oh.
first and only.
Oh my God.
But he said he wanted to be a volunteer towards the end of the apprentice. Like he would be the masterpiece of my work.
Yeah.
He wanted like the biomechanical tattoos. So it's on his calf, and he wanted a shock absorber.
Oh.
He wanted it to look like it's tearing through his flesh
Oh, wow.
and attached to the bone and everything.
That's
like
a detailed tattoo.
Mm-hmm. And
did you nail it?
My boss said I did.
Okay.
So I drew it out. I showed it to him, and it was funny. I was still living at home, so I would do a sketch, and then I would actually compare it to Dad's leg and then adjust the size and everything.
Wow.
Had it all prepped and ready, but I just remember I was doing the outline because it was multiple sessions, but I was knocking out the outline the first day of our session, and he just starts laughing, and I'm like, "What the hell's wrong with you?"
Yeah.
I was tattooing right over his Achilles tendon.
Ooh.
And he's like, it's one of them things, you either laugh or cry. So that's just always stuck in my head.
Think about, yeah, because I heard your feet too, like your feet have all the nerve endings.
I don't know. I got both the tops of my feet.
Really? You can just drink all day and get tatted all day and you're fine. That's funny. I have a nightmare. Well, it's not a nightmare tattoo story, but all my tattoos are done by Little Benny. I don't know if you know who that is, and Eternal Ink. But my girlfriends and I, we went to like a girls trip to San Diego, and we were drinking. This was my drinking days, and one of them had this brilliant idea. Let's all get a tattoo, matching tattoos. Well, one of them had never got a tattoo, so she was a virgin. And we're like, okay, sure. And so we're like, where are we gonna?
Great idea.
Yeah, where are we gonna go? We're in Ocean Beach, and we just walked by this tattoo shop, and they were like, well, let's just go in here. I did not have good vibes about this place. Okay, I was just like, but I was going along with it because they were all excited. I'm like, okay, whatever. And what I didn't like is the guy was like, well, you need to pay me first, and then come back in an hour.
Oh boy.
When I have time for you. And I'm thinking, I'm gonna pay you first, like before you what? But I was like, whatever. They were all in. It was like $50. That tells you right there, $50. So so we go walking around. We come back, and I think I went first, and it's his tattoo. Super easy tattoo.
Oh, okay.
We all did like a wave, like an ocean wave with a sun. But this guy couldn't even get a circle. It's not a circle. It's like a sphere. It's oblong. And I'm like, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, and it's bothering me. And the other two are getting theirs. And so finally I spoke up. I'm like, hey, can you like fix this? Like, it does not look like a sun. Like, and he's like, oh, and he got all like upset about it. And he fixed it a little bit, but still to this day, it bothers me. So that's why I'm like, I stay with my guy. I don't go anywhere else. And it was bad.
Think you'll get it touched up or fix that, or?
I mean, eventually I will. Yeah, but part of me is like, do I just keep it as a memory, as a memento of that day that I got a terrible tattoo? I don't know. I don't know what I do.
I would keep it. I mean, as is.
Yeah, I think so.
It's
a story.
I don't know. It's cliche. I know some celebrities said like tattoos and bookmark of my life or whatever.
Yeah.
They're totally they're stories.
That's
true. Mean, they're living paintings.
That's true. That is true. But the other two, their tattoos were just fine. Because I went first. That's why. Dang it. But cool. Well, this has been fun. Thanks for coming again and chatting, and maybe we'll do something once you get closer to your show to promote it. But tell us one more time the details.
So the show this year is called Legacy 2025. First show, or part one, is going to be in Bozeman at the Baxter, April 26th. And then part two will be in Billings, May 3rd at the Northern and downtown Billings.
Cool. Yeah. And I would definitely recommend going to either of those or both because it was cool. I really had fun.
Yeah, this next year, like I said, we've got out-of-state artists getting involved. Still have that tintype photographer from Missoula.
That was cool. I didn't get to do it, but it was pretty cool.
This next year, you need to do it.
Yeah,
then.
I know.
And then we're also still going to have possibly, oh God, I can't think of the dance group now.
Arc?
Yes.
Can I have Arc again? I used to dance with Arc. Yep. It was cool watching them. It was just they were just right in the middle of the whole thing. It was just really, really cool addition, I think, to it. So, well, cool. Well, thanks, Riley. Follow you on Instagram and Facebook.
Yep.
Okay. And I'm sure he'll be updating more stuff there. So, cool. Well, thanks everybody for watching. Have yourselves a wonderful
See ya.
And it looked like the Wi-Fi worked all right. I think. Maybe. Bye, Instagram. See, end now. And it's not ending yet. Maybe I lied. Oh, this light is horrible on my. Is it ended now? Oh, end stream.